Today's helpful how-to video is going to be basically showing you how to change your idler pulleys. Now, if you've seen my previous video, then you know this is making extremely a lot of noise, and it was cutting into the metal bracket. Let me just go ahead and show you exactly what it was doing. It actually was locking up against the bracket. It had so much movement in it and stuff. It kind of sounded like a chipping noise, you know. So I will be showing you how to take these off too, so you know how to do it, and we install them. So let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is come up underneath this pulley. It will have a belt on it, and you will need to loosen it. This is your idler pulley, and the adjustment screw is right here. If you can see it, it's at an angle. You have to take a little thing. The power stem one is kind of straight up and down. It's easier to get to. And once you loosen that bolt like we did, you can pretty well just tilt this over a little bit and move it up and down. That's how you loosen your pulley, and then you can remove your belt. Now if it's stuck on there, if you loosen this right here, you might have to go ahead and zip this bolt off to make it movable again, to be able to work it. So I'm going to show you on this one. The smaller pulley is the exact same way. This is a 14 millimeter. You just take your impact little and just spin it off. I done had this in loose. It's quite simple. It's just one of these power torquers. They're very good little tools for stuff like this. Just the wing hip brakes. I had this and replaced several times just because that thing pops off, and finally I ain't even no use to it. Hip brakes for about 2 or 3 uses, but your socket keeps falling off. But oh well, it happens, and I'm not too worried about it. It still works pretty decent. Maybe buy a different style than this though, but you can do it just with a ratchet. You will need to leave your belt on till you loosen that bolt to help hold it if you're going to use a ratchet. But these little things zips it right off, no problem. Take your old bearing with you to the parts store. You want to make sure they match, because they make a lot of different bearings. And when you get your new bearing, take it out of the box, and you want to check it for any catches or anything. Now mine does got a little gash here. Now this is a Daco. It's a very good brand, but when they make these, they just toss them in these parts bins, and if they got any gashes like that on this, you might want to think to replace them, because that's where your belt rides. It's got a little gash on the outside here. That's not going to affect it, but make sure it has no play in it, and it's smooth when it turns. So this bearing is an exact match for this one. Looks pretty good, but this bearing was also still good. It was the other one that was bad. Has a little play in it, so we're going to replace it anyway. This is the bearing that locked up, and it was against the metal, but it still spins good. But look how smooth it spins. It does not supposed to spin that fast, and it does not supposed to spin that much. You can hear the chirping noise. And you can see what's been locking up, and the belt's been melting to it. So, has a lot of play in it too. So, let's compare it with a new bearing. That's the part number. And all these parts today come from the local Advanced Auto. So this is the new bearing. It's just an all steel bearing, just like this one. It's pretty identical in size and thickness. Has no play in it, and as you can see, it does got some resistance on it. All bearings that has grease in it should have some resistance and shouldn't spin 100 miles per hour. So this is a very good replacement. Looks identical. So let's go ahead and install them. So go ahead and match up your pulley and make sure it's the same exact one that come off the same area. So let's go ahead and install this just like so. Put a 14 millimeter nut back on it. Whoops. Make sure it starts. Take your impact if you're using one. If you ain't, you might have to put the belt back on it and tension it up, but these little impacts does the trick. So once you get it on, test spin it, make sure it ain't touching, rubbing anywhere. This one isn't, which is a good sign. So the other pulley that I'm switching out, it's a little bit harder to film. You kind of can't see it, so I'm gonna go ahead and install it too, but it goes on the same way as this one, exactly the same way. So once I get it installed, I'll show you how to adjust your belt and tighten everything down. So go ahead and put your belt back on the way it came off, and on this front pulley here, make sure it just semi-snug, because it helps it be able to adjust, because once you tighten this down, it kind of locks it down. And if you super tighten this, you won't be able to move it. So adjust your belt and then snug this on up. So let's go ahead and try to get to that adjustment screw that's right here, and before we adjust this. And as you can see, it pulls this down. And the adjustment on this belt, they are specs, but I like a little bit of, just a tiny bit of movement in mine. Get everything adjusted, you can go ahead and tighten both your pulleys down if you change both of them. That one's tight. And let's go to this one. Snug this one on down. Tight enough. Now they are torque specs for this. You can torque these down if you want to, but they came off with that impact. So going on with the impact, they should be just fine. That's what I'm going to put my trust into. Now make sure your belts are centered up. You got the proper adjustment. As you can see, I got a little movement in mine, but not a lot. That's how I like my belt. Because you put them on too tight, they can actually break on you. So let's go ahead and give this a start up and see what we got, and see if we got any noise. So we got the Endeavor running now, and the pulley is straight as it can be. It's spinning. The other one is doing good too. There's no odd noise. Everything is running like it should on both pulleys. So all in all, this repair probably will take you probably 15 minutes if you know what you're doing. If you don't, you should be able to throw it, you know, out of your way in about an hour. You know, if you're doing it manual with manual tools, that's to be what taking you longest. If you got a little impact like I had, a little battery charged impact, then it'll take you no time at all. So if you found this video helpful, be sure to drop a like, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it if you do. And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you guys for watching.